Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Drama suspends uproar over the Rex declaration of Binani, as in Adamawa. APC controls Senate with 59 seats. 22 feared killed, houses razed in fresh attack on southern Kaduna community. Idris is Kebbi governor-elect. UBA raises profits to 64.4 billion naira in first quarter. Chidi Amuta got it all wrong on Obi, says Alake. And investors lose 601 billion naira in 4 days. Let me start with the Binani story, because all over weekend, everybody there was a lot of drama on is she not? You know, we got an announcement just for INEC to say the announcement cannot stand and must not stand because the REC, that's Hudu Ari in Adamawa State, announced Senator Aisha Binani as the governor-elect without being authorized to do so. According to them, it's the job of the returning officer to make that announcement. And besides, the collation, according to the report, wasn't completed, so they stopped all collation. They said the commission said that the REC broke the rules with the announcement, which ought to be the role of the returning officer. It summoned the REC to Abuja for this morning, and both the REC and the returning officer, Professor Mele Mohammed, to Abuja, and halted further collation of all results. INEC, the Voter Education Commission, and that's Festus Okoye, was saying that the commission's management would meet tomorrow, which is this morning, to review Adamawa's situation and take a final decision. So we're waiting for that decision this morning. But it was wrong for the REC to go ahead. I mean, but unfortunately, I think he was also battered. I think I saw some videos. I'm not sure if it was him, but he was beaten up. So we don't know exactly what happened, but hopefully we can get some investigation to be sure exactly what transpired. But either way, wait for INEC's decision this morning.
Yeah. As much as I would like,
to see
a female governor, especially from the north, I just don't want the circumstances.
Want it to be done the right way.
Surrounding this. Yes. Yeah, I have a story. So, in the spirit of politics continuation, the APC is said to have secured the majority seat in the 10th Senate, that's following this weekend's conclusion of senatorial elections. They said 5 other political parties, including the PDP, have collectively won 50 seats. So what we have is that the APC, this supplementary election, the APC won 4 and PDP 3. Then PDP style is 36, Labour Party 8, the NNPP and SDP won 2 each, ABGA and YPP won 1 seat each, and then 2 heavyweights, got back. Another heavyweight, lost a seat. Just regular. So APC is the majority in the House.
Yeah, so the gap is not so wide either with PDP. I thought it was 54.
No, 36.
Okay, 36. Okay, well, at least we have different people, so they can still swing things, because if they all come together, if all the other parties come together, they can still swing certain votes. But I'm happy that we have a good mix in the House.
So a sad story. About 20 people were on Saturday night killed, several others injured after gunmen launched an attack on Runji village, Sankwap community of Zango Kataf local government area in Kaduna State. They said the attack occurred barely 3 days after 8 people were killed at Antak Njay village of the same local government. Now, according to the story, they said the attackers stormed the community for a few minutes to 10 p.m. on Saturday and started shooting sporadically into the air and killing people, razing houses. A lot of people scampered into safety. The sources also said that local guards that were keeping vigil were able to engage the invaders, but it took the swift intervention of the military operatives to repel the attack. The locals, went ahead to commend the swift response of the military, saying that the attackers would have wiped out the whole community if the military hadn't come. Now, the Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arunwan, confirmed the incident. Governor El Rufai also described the incident as unacceptable and unjustifiable. And this has left a lot of residents of that community injured. Some of them have died, and they are hoping that the government will do more to protect the lives and property of people in Kaduna State. It's just a very sad story.
Very sad. I've taken 2 stories on killings in that Zango Kataf area, and it keeps happening over and over again. I want to take the story about the economy and the investors panicking. Nigeria, investors lose 601 billion in 4 days. And this was because of a panic that happened based on concerns over the macroeconomy and currency risk. So the investors and exporters window, Naira fell by 16 points to 464 to $1, and while parallel market it fell by 13 basic points to 743 to $1, and that caused a major crisis. However, the Nigerian's forex reserve grew a little bit by 38.89 million to close at 35.43 billion, but we still have a macroeconomic crisis to manage, and it's not looking good.
Moving on now to the Punch. Binani declaration, Adamawa Rec under fire, faces INEC panel today. Nigeria's 96% revenue used to service debt in 2022, says World Bank. Aviation unions to ground flights and airports today. Buhari meets governors, EFCC chair, others in Saudi Arabia. Flood sweeps 4-year-old boy away in Lagos. Lagos Ondo Bayelsa heads lead states in rising inflation. Gunmen abduct Ogun traffic official on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Okay, human interest?
Human interest, yes. So this 4-year-old boy, Chukwuemeka Okoro, was swept away by the flood on Tuesday after a heavy downpour. And according to the story, they said he was standing beside a nearby drainage when he fell in and was washed away through the community to even another community. So the parents of the boy have been trying as much as possible to get him, retrieve his body so that they can perform the rites. They have not been able to. According to the story, said on Friday, there were over 20 volunteers and residents who were trying to, search for him. They went through the different areas from Onibata community of Ogba, where it actually happened. They went to Alagbole, which is Waikis area, and then to another area. I'm trying to get the exact location, but they were not able to find him. The people in that particular area, Akintolu, were saying that the river did not flow to that direction, so it's been diverted somewhere else. And the residents also complained about this particular canal, that they have been making reports to the government so far. Nothing has been done. It's been eating a lot of people in that area. The government needs to visit that area and see what they can do to help the residents of that place.
Really, really
It's a very sad incident.
This story.
Another story, unknown gunmen have kidnapped an official of the Ogun State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps. His name is Popola Olasupo. He was on his way to work alongside one of his other colleagues. He was in a commercial bus. They said that when they approached Eledumare Fidio axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, gunmen came out of the bushes and then shot at the vehicle, and he was the only one that was kidnapped. The police have confirmed that this happened, and they said that they are on the trails of the kidnappers, and they assure everyone that Ogun State is not a den for kidnappers, and that they will smoke them out.
So I want to take the story of the Nigerian economic challenges. The World Bank has said that constant fiscal deficit. Every year, we don't have money to run the budget is going to worsen the government's public debt stock. They said that in 2022, Nigeria spent 96.3% of the government's revenue on servicing debts. And the positioning doesn't look good for Nigeria. Of course, they have their advice. They said that the redesigning of the Naira did not help Nigeria, that it hampered the economic growth and made poverty, hampered economic growth and poverty reduction efforts, that it even increased the number of poor people within the country and worsened the forecast for Nigeria. And I'm just wondering that, well, the CBN, the World Bank has been saying this since, if with the level of information that we have, why are we still making decisions that seem like we are not planning a proper, like the 800, we're still going to spend 800 million to give as people as direct cash. Like it doesn't look like our leaders really
have. Sometimes I get
the
conflicting messages. Sometimes you get the report saying that, oh, Nigeria, the Q1, the reports are
no,
better than...
they can be, you'll be hearing growth,
Yeah.
But when you look at the macro, like your growth is nothing compared to where you ought to be. Most of our revenue is still going to servicing debt. So we don't have any income to use to do proper infrastructural development. We're borrowing money to pay every small bill, borrowing money to dash people money.
Where are we?
Let me you said borrowing money to dash people money, and I'm thinking, okay, the infrastructure is, I know, I mean, listen, I get that. It's not our topic. Let's move. So I was going to take a story that caught my attention. Oh, our president is in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, he is. And he's there. He's been visited by the Borno State governor and Yobe State governors, Professor Babagana Zulum and Mai Malabuni. They both went to go and see him. And also the chairman of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abducted Erewa, and the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuko Baratai. They all went there to go and see him, just to give them updates on what on their various assignments, and also all the various situations back home. He's been there for 4 days or 5 days now in Saudi Arabia. He's being hosted by the host, and he's been well taken care of. I mean, the way they took our president, did you see the videos? How he was just ushered in with all the paraphernalia of his, an important
I thought he went to pray.
He went to pray also, but he was
also recognized as president
of the whole Nigeria. Anyway, so he was there and he was speaking on the report, saying that all the reports he's getting, whatever Nigeria has achieved today is due to the power of its democracy, which therefore, and its institutions, which therefore must be strengthened going forward. And I'm happy that he likes to speak to us when he goes out of the country.
I would like to understand, is this a thing? Like wherever he goes, people must go?
It's easier to see him there. In Nigeria, there's a lot of protocols. There's a lot of, you can't just walk to Aso Rock and go and see president. Even remember there was a time where even the speaker was saying that they've not spoken to president, Governor El Rufai. I'm trying to see the president, I've not seen him. So it's not easy to access him.
Different territory.
Once he goes to a different country,
protocol is different.
The protocol is a bit more released, it's relaxed, so it's easy to access these important people. Just say my own.
When are you traveling? Make
come
and access you.
Please. Okay, let's move on to Daily Sun. Have we gone on a break?
Yes, we have.
Daily Sun.
Went early.
Striking workers cripple airports operations. LP crisis deepens as 2 Guber candidates emerge in Imo. Contact dormant account owners before taking their monies. Shareholders urge CBN. FG awaits legislative approval to disburse $800 million to vulnerable Nigerians. Another bloody day in Kaduna. Tension in Adamawa over Guber results. IPOB, no threat to 2023 census in Southeast NPC.
So the major headline, airports across Nigeria will be shut down today as aviation unions commence a 2-day warning strike over non-release of their reviewed condition of service negotiated with 4 aviation agencies over 7 years, in addition to the planned demolition of Lagos offices of some agencies. So there are a lot of them here, part of the union, Secretary General of the National Union of Air Transport Employees, and so many others. I don't want to go through the list, but they are saying that they have given a notice for the 2-day strike, which is starting today, saying that they have earlier issued a 14-day ultimatum to the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, on the same issue since February 7th of this year. And they are warning that if their demands are not met after the warning strike, it will be followed by an indefinite strike. So some of their grounds included non-implementation of minimum wage consequential adjustment and arrears for the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, since 2019, refusal of the Salaries, Income and Wages Commission and Office of the Head of Service of the Federation to release the reviewed condition of service of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, NAMA, Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCA, Nigeria College of Aviation Technology, NCAT, and Nigerian Meteorological Agency as negotiated by between as duly conveyed by the Federal Ministry of Aviation since upwards of 9 years. So these were reviews that were supposed to have been done for them 9 years ago that they have not done. And they are saying that, the heads of the unions had a meeting with the government. They had promised, they had held a Zoom meeting in April, and they had promised that they would be able to, shelve the strike if some of these their needs and demands have been met. And so far, the strike has just started. They are asking that the government does what it needs to do, the agencies do what they need to do, release what they need to do, or else it will just be indefinite. Okay. This may not work for us right now.
Okay, so we remember, I think it was last week when we said the CBN had signed into signed in a new financial policy saying that they were going to be mopping up funds from dormant accounts. You know, they listed the different kinds of accounts that they will now use those funds for treasury bills, to fund the treasury bills. So the guideline had detailed the fund received from, so it says bank without sufficient details. So, okay, the affected financial assets will be dormant accounts, unclaimed balances and other assets in savings, current, term and domiciliary accounts, anything that had been saved for 10 years and above. Anyways, we have the Bank Customers Association of Nigeria. They're calling on CBN to tread carefully. They said that because when they remove these monies, first of all, before they even think about removing this money, they should do all that they can to find the owners of this money.
The money,
yes,
that's the
and
right thing.
People's money. And secondly, it says that you would, by doing this, you will, you know, like reduce the faith that people have in banking their monies, and also that many of the old generation banks depend on deposits like this, and taking this money out, these monies that will collapse the bank.
Yeah.
So CBN really needs to take more time before they go ahead with what they plan on doing.
I want to take a story about Rivers State. So Rundele community in Omoha local government area of Rivers State was thrown into panic. They had some soldiers that were meant to guard the oil pipelines within the area, and those soldiers had an altercation with the vigilante group popularly called OSPAC. It resulted in shooting. They said 2 soldiers were shot. They didn't confirm if either of them, that they said they sustained gunshot injuries, and that the OSPAC people carted away with rifles belonging to the soldiers as well as uniforms. The traditional ruler of the area, Demien Ejiowo, confirmed the story that the incident did happen, but they were trying to get information from the military that the Nigerian Army 6th Division in Port Harcourt should also confirm. They said they reached out, he didn't pick his phone. The villagers are terrified of what will happen in between, and many of them have deserted their houses because of fear of what will happen. But I don't know. I don't understand how a vigilante group would clash with soldiers that are meant to secure the pipelines, and I hope we didn't lose any soldier in the shooting.
So, the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, has said that they are only waiting legislative approval for the $800 million to be disbursed as a palliative for Nigerians. According to her, preparation works are already in top gear as all approvals are being awaited, especially building the social register, which should be used for the electronic transfers. They said, according to her also, we need to have this ready because the government eventually removes, when they remove the subsidy, people will need that extra money to, even though inflation will swell, we hope that that could support, especially Nigerians who are really in need of this money. When asked about the $23 million that was paid to consultants to secure the $800 million, she said she doesn't even know what that means, but they have enough expertise within the Ministry of Finance to secure. They actually sourced for the funds. It wasn't like they didn't need consultants.
That was false.
Pay. That was false information. That they sourced that money from the World Bank. They went to the Debt Management Office, the Ministry of Finance, and the World Bank also helped to support to get that money. So we don't need consultants to help us raise any kind of finance. We have internal expertise that has worked over time. When they asked about the investment in local production, she said that once we save that money, we will have enough money to fund all that we need for modular refineries and all that. Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.